Hi, I'm Eric, and today we're going to teach you how to play Doomlings. The goal of the game is to score tons of points by playing traits for your Doomling species until the world's inevitable destruction. The player with the most points at the end of the world wins. In Doomlings, there are 3 types of cards: traits, ages, and gene pool cards. Traits are what you need to win the game. Play traits on your turn. Each one is worth points, and they also have a ton of special abilities they can perform. This one lets you steal from an opponent. Ages are like rounds. When the dealer flips an age, a new rule is introduced into the game, for that round only. Players follow the effect's instructions before taking a turn. Once all players have taken a turn, the dealer flips a new age, and a new round begins. Gene pool cards show how many traits you can have in your hand. This will increase or decrease throughout the game. Each player gets one, so choose your favorite color. Now let's talk about the setup. To set the game, we must create the age pile. Separate the catastrophes and the birth of life from the other age cards and set them aside. Hint, you'll know it's a catastrophe if it says catastrophe at the top. It will also have a yellow World's End effect at the bottom. Shuffle the basic ages and deal 3 piles with 3 ages each, face down. Next, shuffle the catastrophes and deal 1 catastrophe into each pile of ages, face down. Set the remaining ages and catastrophes aside. You should now have 3 piles of 4 cards each. Shuffle each pile and then stack them on top of one another. Finally, place the Birth of Life face down on top of the pile. The Birth of Life is special because it's always the first round. This ensures that you'll never begin the game with a catastrophe. Set the final pile in the center of the table. This is called the age pile. Next, shuffle all the traits super well and deal 5 traits to each player face down. Set the remaining stack of traits in the center of the table next to the age pile for players to draw from. Last but not least, players pick their favorite gene pool card and set it in front of them with the number 5 facing up. This represents the number of cards each player should have in their hand. Alright, let's get into the game. The game begins when the dealer flips a card from the age pile. Again, the first card is always the Birth of Life. Starting left of the dealer and moving clockwise, each player takes their turn by playing a trait from their hand, directly in front of them. When all players have taken their turns, the dealer flips a new age, and a new round begins. Let's examine a turn. You'll begin your turn by playing a single trait from your hand, face up, directly in front of you. Each trait will have a point value in the bottom left corner. This could be 2 points, or even negative points. This one is pretty strong with 4 points. Once the trait is in front of you, it has entered your trait pile, and is now worth points at the end of the world. But there's more. Many traits have text at the bottom of the cards, which are called effects. These can be bonuses or special instructions that give you an edge during the game. Generally speaking, effects only matter if they're currently in your trait pile, unless the effect says otherwise. Some effects are called actions. You'll know it's an action if it has this little symbol next to the text. Actions only occur once when you play them directly from your hand. Some effects offer +1 or -1 gene pool. When the trait enters your trait pile, adjust your gene pool card. The number on the top represents the number of cards you should have in your hand. We'll get into more on that in a minute. If the trait leaves your trait pile, adjust your gene pool back again to reflect the change. You'll typically play 1 trait each turn, though some effects allow you to play another. Just remember, follow the instructions on the card. After playing a trait, you will have 1 fewer card in your hand than you started with. To end your turn, check your gene pool and stabilize. Wait, what do you mean stabilize? Well, to understand that, I think it's time we talk about the gene pool. Your gene pool reflects how many cards you should have in your hand at the end of your turn. In order to end your turn, you must stabilize, meaning you must draw or discard from your hand until you have the same amount of cards as your gene pool allows. So, if Chris's gene pool is 5, but he holds 6 cards in his hand, he'll need to discard 1 card to stabilize. If Kathy's gene pool is 5, but she holds 4 cards, she'll need to draw 1 card to stabilize. If the size of their hand matches the size of their gene pool, they're stable. Nothing to do but simply end their turn. Now keep in mind, the number of cards in your hand won't always match your gene pool. For instance, when a catastrophe hits and you have to discard a card, all players will start their turn with fewer cards in their hand. However, when you end your turn, you will stabilize to the number on your gene pool. Okay, so the minimum gene pool size is 1, and the maximum is 8. Generally, you want your gene pool to be big so that you have more options of traits to play from your hand. As the game progresses, your gene pool will naturally decrease, which can really constrain your strategy. But not to fear, some traits can increase your gene pool, giving your hand that extra boost. Let's take a closer look at ages. Each age has a unique effect that players must follow for that round only. This age tells players to draw 2 cards, while this age prevents players from playing blue traits. As always, each are for this round only. When the dealer flips an age, all players must follow the instructions on the age before anyone takes a turn. But watch out! Eventually the dealer will flip a catastrophe, which can have devastating effects on your species. Just like basic ages, all players must follow the effects of the catastrophe before taking a turn. Each catastrophe affects each player's gene pool. This catastrophe says -1 gene pool, so each player simply adjusts their gene pool card accordingly. Next, each catastrophe will have a catastrophic effect. This one forces players to pass their hand to the right. Hopefully you weren't attached to any of those cards. Finally, each catastrophe will have a gold world's end effect. Ignore this effect unless it's the third and final catastrophe. If the dealer just flipped the third catastrophe, this marks the end of the world. No more turns are taken. The game is now over. Apply the gene pool and catastrophic effects first. Then, check the traits in your trait pile for this world's end symbol and apply the effects on those traits. Finally, apply the world's end effect on the final catastrophe to the entire table. Hold on. You're probably asking, why do some traits have gold stars in the top corner? These are called dominant traits, which are rare and more powerful than other traits. Dominant traits cannot be removed from your trait pile for any reason. That's right. Once played, they can't be swapped, stolen, returned, or discarded. Period. However, each player may only play 2, so choose wisely. You're probably also wondering, what do you mean swap, steal, or discard? Some traits will allow you to steal from an opponent, and they will clarify whether it's from their hand or from their trait pile. Some traits will let you swap with an opponent. Always swap from the same place, either hand to hand or trait pile to trait pile, but never hand to trait pile. If you're ever forced to discard, whether from your hand or from your trait pile, simply discard your card face up in a stack next to the community traits. The center of your table should look like this. Alright, the game's over. Now let's talk about tallying up the score. To score the game, we suggest following these 3 simple steps. Step 1, follow the world's end effect of the final catastrophe. Step 2, tally the face value of all traits in your trait pile, even the negative ones. Step 3, finally, apply any bonuses from traits in your trait pile. Look for the drop of life in the bottom right corner. Once all points have been tallied, the Doomling species with the highest score wins the apocalypse. So that's it, you did it. If you ever have any questions, you can always refer back to the rulebook or our website for anything not covered in the video. Go forth, young Doomlings, your planet awaits.